Okay, here we go. Well, thanks for coming, everyone. We're here on the webinar for the 4-hour e-commerce site. The fourth and final webinar this week is called Advanced Technologies. And I'm going to start off with talking a little bit about backup. There's a plugin here for WordPress that I forgot to talk about last week. Better late than never, but backup is one vital aspect of your business, because sooner or later you will have a problem where something goes wrong with a site that you have. Either your host will lose some data, or you'll lose a file that's on your server because you delete it accidentally or something like that. So there are a couple of things you need to do to protect against that, and one, and this is the only plugin I'm going to be talking about today for WordPress, is WPDB Backup. So I'm actually going to install it on dojitool.com so that you can see how I do that. There's not a great deal to that, but if I call up the site, let's bring up Firefox into the window here. Plugins. And I haven't installed it on here yet, so it's an ideal opportunity for me to get it on here. And we have to probably search for WPDB Backup. We'll find it directly for us. And here it is. This is a very handy backup. It actually emails you the backup whenever you and it can email that backup to you on a schedule, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate today. So I'll activate the plugin, and the next thing we need to go to its setup page, and that is WordPress Database Backup is the full name of the tool. Navigate to Tools Backup to get started. So Tools, drop that down, Backup. Right, it will automatically back up all of the core WordPress tables. You can get it to exclude spam comments and exclude post revisions if you want to save a little bit of time, and it'll also allow you to back up database tables that are associated with your other plugins. Now obviously you're going to want to add in your eShop ones, so the best way, this is the table prefix for this WordPress database. If you have multiple WordPress installations in one single database, you'll have several of these different prefixes, and all of the tables will appear here. In this case, there's only one, and that number appears all the way down. So what you want to do is click on the first one, hold down Shift and click on the last one, and that selects all of these tables. I don't see any reason you would ever want not to include all of the tables, because it's giving you all of the tables that you need. And what you want to do with it is you want to email the backup to yourself. That's what I recommend you do. You can save it to the server or download it to your computer directly. I just prefer to email the backup to myself. Right, I can click backup now, and that will send me the backup directly. But instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up a schedule for this. I'm going to schedule a backup once weekly for this one. I think that should be rapid enough. And again, I need to select the alternate tables. in the same way. And I'm going to click on Schedule Backup. And now the site is automatically going to email me once a week a zip file containing the databases, and that file can be loaded directly into cPanel if there's ever a requirement to restore the database. So that's backing up the WordPress database content. I will actually click on backup now so that we can see that operation proceeding, just to demonstrate it. You can see what it does. It goes along backing up all of the tables. Except I didn't have the extra ones backed up in this case. And it's now sent me the backup, which I should find in my email. So that's all there is to backing up the WordPress database. But backing up the WordPress database isn't enough on its own. You also need to back up the server contents. And there's two ways of doing that I'm going to show you today. You can use an ordinary FTP client such as FileZilla. You've probably already got it. I'm not going to demonstrate the installation. If you haven't got that, then you've got your own FTP client that you're familiar with. Set defaults file exists, options to overwrite file if source file new. Okay, I can't remember what that was. Let's have a quick look here. If I want to do this backup, right, let's bring up FileZilla. Select the host. Right, now what did that say? Set defaults file exists, options to overwrite file if source file no, I really can't remember what that's all about. But all you have to do really is make a directory on your computer into which the files will be placed. So I'll make a new directory here, and in this case I'll call it Dojo Tool Backup. Navigate to that directory, click on the remote site root and click on download. And it goes through everything that it needs to transfer, and it'll then transfer, it'll start downloading the contents to your computer. And it's a similar process to upload all that stuff should you ever need to restore files or everything from that. Hopefully this won't take too long. I would like to show you the start of the operation so that you can see what's going on. I don't think it's going to take much longer actually. But that restores, that backs up everything except the databases. The databases are not stored on the cPanel file system. Well, they're not stored on the in the place where the rest of your files are stored, and you have to back those up using a different technique such as the one I've demonstrated. Okay, is it going to be much longer? Actually, it looks like it's going to take some time, so It's transferring some things. Okay, yeah, it's transferring some stuff in that underscore directory. So it is proceeding. Right, I'm going to stop it now because I don't want to do a full backup at this time. In fact, I'll close it down. Because the other way of doing this I want to demonstrate is wget. This is an advanced technique. It's a powerful way of getting the backup done. It's scheduled easily if you want to with the Windows scheduling service, but it uses the command prompt, so it may appear a little intimidating for if you're not really used to using that command prompt. You download it from here, and I'm not sure if I've got it installed on this PC because I prepared the course materials with another PC, so I'm going to go to that page and we'll see what happens when I download it. wget for Windows. The file that you want to transfer is basically the complete package except sources, that setup file. So if I click on download setup, the file will shortly begin transferring. It's not a very big file, so it shouldn't take too long to do this, and then I can demonstrate the installation, which the installation's fairly simple, but how to use it is a little bit strange, because there's a certain command line that you have to use to start the command line, command prompts. If you're using Windows, you will find it in the accessories folder in your start menu. I can't show you it because it's on my main screen and not the webinar screen, but once you've got it started, that's what it looks like. So we'll just wait for the download to finish. And the virus checking should proceed. I don't think I've ever had Firefox tell me there was a virus, but I suppose it's good to have the check. Right, so we get this, and we just follow through the installation, accept the agreement. This is a free program under the GNU General Public License, so you're free to use it and distribute it as you see fit. This system is a 64-bit Windows system, so it goes into program files x86 on here. That's atypical. Usually you'll be using a 32-bit Windows system and it'll go into program files, which is what the MindMap documentation tells you about. No reason we can't do a full installation. So, okay. Alright, let's install it into a different place then. I'm not entirely sure why that happened. It didn't happen on my XP system when I tried it on there, but I'm fairly sure that if I just remove program files from this path, that should sort out that problem, and it should then be possible to install the application. Okay, I'm going to ignore the registry key problems. I don't think they're a big problem. It might be that the program won't appear in the start menu, but we don't need it to appear in the start menu. If you have problems installing this application, just remove the program files part, as I've done. So I'm going to obviously enter a different path from that one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to follow the example usage, except that it's going to be, it's not program files in my case, since I removed that. The file should be in there, wget.exe is in there, so if I just type wget, there we are, it does indeed pull that up. Right, I'm gonna have to move this away just temporarily because I need to enter my password to demonstrate this, but unfortunately I can't reveal that to you. But it has the format as specified in the mind map. Except that I've missed one thing out of that, which is a / at the end of the URL there. And I'll start it going. And now the password scrolled off the screen. I'll just pull it up so that you can see what's going on. It's retrieving the files, and the -- mirror means that it'll mirror the contents of the FTP site. So it will copy every single file and keep everything as it is. The first time you run it, it'll back up everything, but second and subsequent times it'll do an incremental backup, so it'll only download the files that it needs to download. I'm gonna stop it now because you can see what it's doing and you've seen how to run it. So that's wget. As I say, this one is very simple to schedule if you wish to schedule it. I don't know if that's something I can demonstrate quickly. There's a program called Task Scheduler. I think this might be different for different Windows systems. This is how it appears on Windows 7. And I can create basic task and call it backup website. Trigger, let's say it should happen weekly, and then it's going to ask me when it should do it. So we could say something like every Saturday at 0400 hours. Recur every week on Saturday. Action, start program, and the program will in this case be the full path to wget, which was GNU Win32 bin wget, and then you'd enter the parameters. And right, okay, what you need to do actually, you should just have the name of the program in this box, and then where it says add arguments, that's where you put in your -- mirror and the username and password URL. And there you specify where it's gonna put the backups. So if you've got a specific location for that, you can put it there, and then next, and then finish, and it will then do it on a schedule for you. So that's that done. Right, now we're on to the main thing that I said I was going to talk about during this webinar, and we start off with keyword conversion rates. I'm not sure if I've demonstrated this before, actually. I may have done, but if I have done, I apologize for reiterating, but what we need to do is go to the Google Analytics account. The reason for doing this is basically to pull up stats on how well specific keywords convert, and I think I can do it with this one. I haven't got most of these set up correctly, but I think with this one I did. I've got goals converting there. So what I have to do, I have to navigate to traffic sources, keywords, traffic sources, keywords, and now it shows you what keywords people are using to reach your sites. Of course, nothing will appear straight away with this, but after a while, after you get some search engine rankings, you will see something appearing here. And if you do any PPC traffic generation, they will also appear here. Right, you click on goal set 1, or if you have multiple goal sets, then you click on whatever goal set applies, and here we can see the goal conversion rate is listed there. In this case, it's a sign up rather than a product purchase, but in your case, if you've set up your goals as in the previous lesson, then you'll get conversion rate for your sales. Per visit goal value, that's only ever going to be set if you've got something that's compatible with Google Analytics and knows how to tell Google Analytics those parameters. So that's keyword conversion rates. Now we're on to the main meat of what I want to discuss today. PPC traffic generation. I've done this for a number of years, so I've got a fair bit of expertise in that, and I just want to give you an idea of the best way to get started with it, because you can lose money very easily, and I'm sure you've heard that a lot of people say they steer clear of PPC because they've lost a ton of money. I mean, I started out with this doing affiliate marketing. I bought Google Cash, which was an ebook. I don't think it's around any longer, and that introduced me to affiliate marketing, buying ads with PPC, and sending traffic to merchants to get conversions. And I lost a ton of money because I didn't know what I was doing. Well, it takes a while to learn this process, and that ebook only really covered the basics, and it didn't tell you how not to lose a lot of money. So I'm just going to tell you how not to lose a lot of money. What you want to do basically, Google AdWords and probably the others too. I don't have experience of the other two, I should make that clear, have two places in which they'll list your ads, and they'll do it automatically in both places unless you tell them only to use search engines. Content sites means that your ads would appear on the content network, and they would appear on sites that display AdSense ads. Now, they can convert, but generally the conversion rates are a lot lower than for search engine keyword marketing, where someone enters a specific keyword for something they're looking for in the search engine, and you get to see the sponsored links. So that's if I enter, for example, let's say German course, something like that, we'll see a bunch of ads. Here we are, bunch of these are all sponsored links, therefore advertisements that have been placed by traders using the Google AdWords service. So if someone enters German course into Google, they're probably going to be looking for a German course. But if someone's on a site that just happens to be talking about German courses, they're less likely to be looking for a German course. So you don't really want to be spending a lot of money on sites on adverts on sites that appear on the content network, at least to start with. It's something you can test when you get more experience, but if you're starting off, I suggest turning off content sites. Search keywords can be broad, phrase, or exact match, and what that means. Broad match keywords are keywords that you enter and Google will run ads for searches where it considers the user has entered something similar. For German course, that could be German language course, perhaps German training, some stuff like that. Because it's a much more broad base for matching keywords, conversions are probably going to be, generally speaking, more difficult to achieve. And it's also the case that with broad match keywords, you won't necessarily, some of the keywords that your ads will be listed for are going to be keywords that are not going to give you any conversions at all. Maybe something like free German course. Actually, that's something I'm going to add to this, and negative keywords, which I need to discuss later. If you're entering a broad match keyword into Google's AdWords interface, you just enter the keyword and it's not surrounded by anything. Phrase match keywords surrounded in double quotes, and a phrase match keyword, the person doing the search must have entered the keyword that you've input, but they could have entered additional words besides that. If they've entered something slightly different, your ad will not be shown. But these can convert a bit better than broad match keywords. Exact match keywords are keywords where you specify that the person doing the search must have entered the keyword that you've specified exactly. If they've entered something in addition to the keyword, your ads won't be shown. that'll give you the lowest search volume but the highest conversion rates. And you can specify negative keywords as well, and you may typically want to exclude free. For example, if you're selling a German course, you don't want someone searching for free German course to get to your site. Necessarily, it depends what you're doing, really. I mean, if you've got a squeeze page set up and you're capturing leads, then that would be ideal, but that's not what we're talking about really in this course. So if you were to add a negative keyword into your setup, then that would automatically exclude any search entry that includes that keyword. So if I've got a broad match of keywords called German course, or a phrase match keyword called German course, and someone enters free German course, it won't appear because there's a negative keyword set. Long tail keywords. This refers to keywords that are several words long, and usually they're more targeted than short keywords. Now, let's say, for example, someone's looking for a dating site. They enter dating site. They're probably doing some research to see what sort of dating sites they might like. Once they've done some research, they may do another search, and this time they may look for professional dating sites. They may look for professional dating site for men, or professional dating site in United Kingdom, or something along those lines. Once they've reached that point, they've entered a longer keyword, they know what they're looking for, and therefore when they click through to the site, they're assuming it gives them what they want. They're more likely to buy. Of course, there is less traffic than if you're bidding on short keywords, but they're usually cheaper to rank for because less people are bidding on them. So that is certainly what I suggest to go for: long tail targeted keywords that describe exactly the products that you're selling. And in this case, it could be the exact product name. If you're bidding on a product that you sell and you bid on the exact product name, or the product name with buy or purchase, perhaps download in front of it, then the person is very, very likely to be searching for what you sell. And I do this myself with Keyword Transformer. I bid on that exact phrase, and people entering that into the search engines come into my site, and in that case they usually sign up for the free version of the product. They may make a purchase if they like the free version of the product, and that's part of my business model there. But that's a very definite thing you want to aim for. If you just target descriptive keywords, let's say my one-time offer script, for example, that I sell. Actually, I give that away too, but let's say someone enters OfferScript, they might not be looking for a one-time OfferScript. They might be looking for a script that allows them to terminate an offer at a specific time. They might be looking for a countdown script. It's not very descriptive. It's shorter. It can't be as descriptive. And it's far less likely to convert. So unfortunately, you do need to tend to limit the keywords that you're aiming to bid on to ones that are very targeted, even though it limits the traffic you get, because otherwise you're wasting your money, really. Another thing that I need to put into this list, patience is the name of the game. It really can be quite slow. I mean, if I entered a campaign and I had one sale per day, I'd be over the moon. Now it can happen, but typically you might be looking at getting 50 to 100 clicks in a month, and maybe you'll get 1 or 2 sales in that month. At least, again, when you're starting out. Once you've got some experience under your belt, you might find that you can go for keywords that do have more traffic and send you more buyers and more rapid buyers. You get to put in 4 lines of advertising copy. If I go back to the sponsored links, this is what you see. You get to enter a headline, which can be up to, I think it's 35 characters long. Then you get to enter 2 individual lines that can be up to 45 characters long, I think. And then you get to enter a URL that can be 35 or so characters long. This URL, there's 2 rules that apply to that. The domain name used has to be the same as the domain name of your landing page, which is not necessarily the domain to which you're sending the traffic, because that might redirect the user, but at the end of any redirect chain, it has to be this domain. The other consideration is that if someone enters this into the search engine, that must resolve to a page, but not necessarily the same page as if the user clicks on the link and goes to where the advert takes them. The other thing I'll just point out briefly, I entered German course, so German is one of the 2 keywords that I've entered. Now look at how it's being put in bold there, and courses, of course, is a plural of course, has also been put in bold, and German in this URL has also been put in bold. Your advertising copy, you can make use of that because the boldness draws attention to that keyword, and it can help your click-through rates. Click-through rates. You want a high click-through rate because the way Google sets out Google AdWords is very interesting. After a while, they've picked up on what your click-through rate is for your ad, and they'll modify the ranking for your ad appropriately. So an ad that converts into a click for them at 5% is going to be twice as valuable as one that converts into a click at 2.5% rate, and they will make your bid more powerful as a result. So if you've got a high performing bit of advertising copy, it will tend to rise in the rankings. The interface allows you to split test these ads and keep the ones that perform better and throw the others away. So what some people advocate doing is to always have 2 ads running, and let them run for a number of impressions that makes your test statistically valid. I can't really go into a great deal of detail about that because it's quite mathematical, but once you're fairly sure that one ad is better than another ad in terms of a click-through rate, then discard the lower performing ads, keep the better performing one, and then write another ad with slightly different copy and try that. So that's something that you can get you more clicks eventually for the same amount of money. Yes, you want quality landing pages if you're advertising on Google AdWords. Some people have been banned from Google AdWords for continually advertising low quality landing pages, and you'll get rewarded with higher rankings for higher quality landing pages. Factors, keywords must probably be on the landing page. The landing page needs these 5 links, possibly others too, especially if you're running an e-commerce site. And the landing page will be assigned a quality score from 0 to 10 automatically by the Google AdWords interface when you enter the URL for your landing page. That quality score will also vary by the keyword. So a site that sells red kites might have a quality rating of 10 for someone that enters red kites. It might have a quality rating of 7 if you bid on blue kites. It might have a quality rating of 0 if you're bidding on German course. Well, you wouldn't want to, but this is just for the sake of example. They do get reviewed by humans, and that's normally perhaps within the 24 hours after you've submitted your landing page for consideration. Vital thing, never go with the bids that Google suggests you use. Google wants you to spend money with them. They want your money. That's what Google AdWords is there for. It's to take money from you and to give it to them. Of course, they want you to be able to make sales with the traffic that they provide you. But Google AdWords is about making them money, and it's the way Google makes money, so of course they're experts at getting the money out of you in the first place. And the suggested bids, Google AdWords interface will suggest a bid for each keyword, and it's usually very high. It's the bids that you would need to use to rank at number 1 probably, so to be at the top of the list. Being at the top of the list will generally get you a higher click-through rate, but it's expensive to be there. You want to start your bidding at around 5 cents per click or the local currency equivalent, and you don't want to exceed 10 cents per click until you know what you're doing. And you'll want to set a reasonable daily limit that's affordable to you, of course. You can always increase that if things are going well. Only you know what you can afford, but something like £5 per day might be reasonable, $10 per day, something like that, I guess. And a conversion rate for a product sale, it might typically vary between about 0% and 2%. It depends on the offer. It can even depend on the demographic. If you've got products that's about weight loss, it's probably going to be the case that women are more likely to go for it than men. And so it'll vary for different keywords, different demographics, and you can target different demographics as well with the Google AdWords interface. Something else I want to add into here is that you should allow 300 clicks to go through in an ad group before terminating it. This just allows you to get a good statistical idea of what that conversion rate might be. Now, I say before terminating it there. Before terminating it assumes that that you haven't got any conversions. Now, let's say you've got 3 conversions, so 3 sales out of those 300 clicks. In that case, you've got a 1% conversion rate. And let's say the product you're selling is $100. If you knew that, and if that rate was consistent, then you could bid at up to $1 per click and still make money. $1 per click would be the break-even point. But if your bid was $1 per click, some of the clicks you wouldn't actually pay $1 for, because just because you're bidding at a certain price doesn't mean that you pay that price. It depends on the competition at the time and a whole host of other factors, where you're ranking in the list, the quality score for your landing page, and that sort of thing. So a knowledge of the break-even point is useful so that you know what the maximum you can bid is before you would start to actually lose money on a campaign. What you want to actually bid up to is up to you. You probably want to bid a fair bit lower than the break-even point. What's the point bidding at the break-even point unless you want to build up a lot of sales because you're getting some back-end sales or something like that? You're planning to increase your visitor value in another way. You're just earning money and giving it all to Google, so not something you should do. But allow about 300 clicks to go through for in testing for a product sale in an ad group before terminating it. That's really my introduction to PPC traffic generation out of the way. In terms of search engine optimization traffic generation, now this of course is where you're looking to rank for keywords in the organic listings. So you don't pay for any traffic that you generate using SEO techniques, and in that way it tends to be a bit more attractive perhaps than PPC traffic generation. But it's usually going to take a bit longer to get established on keywords and get traffic. They say in Google AdWords that you can be getting traffic within 15 minutes, and I certainly believe that. I've seen it myself. SEO traffic generation, anyway, there are various factors that affect it, and I'm going to go into what I'm aware of on page SEO. You probably won't need to worry about a lot of this because WordPress will handle a lot of this for you, and WordPress is particularly good when it comes to SEO, and I've given you tips throughout the course about this sort of stuff. To start with the URL. Best way to rank easily with a URL is to have the keyword you're targeting as the domain name. So an example might be onetimeofferscripts.com. Another example might be germancourse.com. Alright, it might not look brilliant to a user, it doesn't look like a brand, but if you're trying to target a specific keyword that lists your product type or something like that, that is the ultimate best way to do it. So if you've got a site that's operating in a niche, for example, let's say it's selling a certain kind of microlight aircraft, microlightAircraft.com might be ideal, and then the site could have pages within it that talk about Icarus, talk about Cirrus, talk about Cessna, and different providers of aeroplanes, and chances are you would rank well for keywords that incorporate microlight aircraft in them. Of course, there's a downside to that, and that means that you have to be buying lots of domain names. And the domain name you want might be taken. People do this with .coms, they do it with .nets, and I've heard of it being done with .infos. It might be worth looking at .co.uk if you're in the UK, or similar if you're in another country. It's not an approach I particularly like, but it certainly does work. And Keyword Transformer, my product, I've got keywordtransformer.com for that, so it certainly helps me rank there. Second best way is to use a subdomain in the same way. So you might have sites, you might own a domain name that's a generic domain name, and you just add the keyword you want to rank for in a subdomain. So it might look something like that, onetimeofferscripts.dojotools.com. And that's not quite as powerful as the first technique, but certainly very powerful. And a lot of people advocate things like using Blogger and giving product names for a blog there, and then it would appear as productname.blogspot.com. So it's certainly a well-recognized technique. The third best way is to include keywords in the path part of the URL, and that might be a typical example of that. one-time-offer scripts after the domain name, and by default that's what WordPress is going to do for you with eShop, because what you get when you enter a new page, if I bring up the admin panel for dojotool.com, if I start a new post and click on add new and call it something like one-time offer script, this, what is known as a page slug, appears, and this is exactly that format that that Google's looking for. I mean, variations are that it could be one-time-offer-script.html or .php or anything like that. And the other thing to know about URLs is short URLs are generally better than long ones for SEO purposes. So if you use one of the default options for WordPress paths, that's permalink settings. I mean, for example, day and name, you've got these characters added before the slug. You really don't want those, so I'd certainly recommend that you use this custom structure, this /%postname%/, and that's going to give you this type of URL all the time. In terms of HTML source code, there's certain things you'll want to do. You'll want your keywords in the title tag, in the header of your pages. All-in-one SEO does that for you, and if you configure it in the way that I've shown, basically the title of the post becomes the title of your page. So if I just show you an example here, it's not exactly the title of the post, is it? Well, let's see. I can't remember entirely. Right, here's the title, and that was the title of the post. So there we are. If you can get that exactly the same as the keyword that you want to rank for, that's brilliant. That's all you can do. If you can get H1 or H2 tags containing the keyword, that's another benefit. If I view the source code for this page and look for H1 tag, okay, the H1 tag in this case is the thing at the top of the screen. That's the dojotool.com there. So we'll probably find that it's actually an H2 tag. So I've just passed one. Okay, there we are. So this, which might be a keyword that we're trying to rank for, appears as an H2 tag using this theme, and that's probably typical. If the keyword exists in the body text and possibly exists between strong or EM tags or BRI tags, whichever you happen to be using, in other words, it's shown in bold or italic font, that will increase the likelihood of ranking. And keywords appearing in the link anchor text do very well as well, and that gives you more of a boost really than both of these. I mean, this is all really somewhat of an art form because Google are not transparent, as are none of the other search engines, and they don't tell you how to rank well. Well, they don't tell you their exact algorithm. So to a certain extent you're playing guessing games, but I think this is likely to be second best, this is likely to be third. Actually that's probably second and that's third, and then the keywords existing in the body text with strong OEM tags is going to be another bonus. I understand that if the keyword appears as part of the alt text for image tags, that can help you, but the alt text must be relevant to the image. I think you can specify alt text when you upload an image into WordPress. So that's something to be aware of. Now, the reason the alt text must be relevant to the image is simply that, let's say, for example, you've got an image and it's an image of a book, but you're selling a video course or something, and that's probably not a very good example. Let's say you're selling a kite, but all you've got is an image of a book handy. So you put it on your book, you put it on the site, and your alt tag says kite. Well, Google people do review sites for quality, and they've got a team of people that do it. And if they see that you've got a tag that says the image is of a kite and it happens to be of a book, it's going to be a red flag to them. They're going to think this site is spamming the search engines, and they're going to push the button that's going to send your ranking down or out of Google altogether. So you don't want that to happen. So try not to do that. It's not an ethical practice anyway, and you can make money perfectly ethically in internet marketing. Links to terms of service, sitemap, and all that sort of stuff tend to appear on reputable sites, and as Google is trying to provide you with links to reputable sites when you search for something, they will improve your rankings, so you should have them on every page if possible. Don't do something silly like encrypt your page content using JavaScript or something like that, because robots don't understand it. The company I work for in my day job, they encrypt everything. And although their pages are known to the search engines, they're nowhere in the rankings for them, and they don't understand why. I'm not in the marketing department there. I'm a software engineer as far as they're concerned, so I don't get involved with that side, but really, I can see what's going on there, and they spend lots of money on, they spent lots of money on search engine optimization companies and that sort of thing. But there we go. Yes, so avoid that simply because robots don't understand it. Try not to target too many keywords with one landing page. If you want to target several different keywords, try and do it with different landing pages if possible. And you don't want to be trying to target all keywords with the same landing page. I mean, it wouldn't be a good idea anyway. Let's say you sell televisions, videos, and DVD players. And someone's searching for a television. You don't want them clicking through to the page that sells them tellies, videos, and DVD players, because you don't know they're interested in DVDs or video players. You know they're interested in televisions, so you should give them a site that shows several different televisions. A page that shows slightly different a page that shows several different televisions. I mean, you can have links on that page to the other pages that have VCRs and DVDs and all that sort of stuff, but you want different landing pages to target different keywords, and you can have related products on one page, but the more pages you've got, the more chances of ranking in Google you've got, really. Meta description can be used. Now, I've shown that before, and I've shown you how you can use all-in-one SEO to get that. And that appears in the header source code. So if I go back to this, for example, here's a meta description that applies here, and the contents, a description of the product that I've entered into all-in-one SEO when I put up this page. So you want the keywords to appear in there, and also you want to try and put in a description that will get people to take some action and click through to your site. There's no good ranking in the first place for a keyword if, when people look at that listing in the search engine lists, they think, God, I'm not even going to bother clicking through to that page because the snippet looks like it's complete nonsense. It doesn't look like what I'm looking for. You want something good so that people can see something that entices them to get onto your site. So you want to do a little bit of marketing there. And other factors that influence SEO. I understand that the time taken to load pages affects SEO, which is why I recommend using WP Supercache. I don't know for certain that it does, but I don't see why it wouldn't. This goes back to Google wanting to offer a good service to people, and when you click through to a site and it takes ages to load, you get a bit fed up with it. Or I certainly do. I'll give a site maybe 20 seconds, and if I haven't seen something by then, I just go back to Google and look for another site. I get a bit irritated. So they're going to tend to promote the sites that load quickly, and it is something that they measure. I think on Google Webmaster Tools it shows you whether your site is above average, average or below average in terms of the time it takes to load a page compared with other similar websites. So that's one of the things you want to optimize. Shortness of HTML content. Generally speaking, a shorter page, up to 20k perhaps in size, 20 kilobytes, is gonna be better for ranking than something as 50 kilobytes or 100 kilobytes, as long as the page isn't too short. If you've got a page that basically has no content, that's going to be difficult to rank. If you've got a page that's got a lot of content, it really depends on the page. It's a rule of thumb. One of my pages that I do well with is a massive page, but it's built up to be massive over time, and most of it isn't content that I wrote anyway. Most of it is comments. The page itself should be unique to avoid duplicate content penalty. Now, this particular factor, people think there's a big problem with duplicate content, and some people won't take articles from article directories and publish them because, well, for this reason. But let me demonstrate why I believe that's a fallacy. If I can quickly think of something that might appear in a lot of download locations. I'm not sure if this is entirely going to work, but let's see if it does. Okay, well, there's two pages with exactly the same snippet. I don't know if they both look the same. Let's have a look and see if they look the same. So that's openoffice.org/product. That one's downloads.openoffice.org. Okay, they don't look the same at all. Yeah, I can't think of exactly where I've seen this, but certainly I've seen when entering a product name for download that sometimes there are several different download sites that have descriptions of that product. The descriptions will be identical, and you might see 10 or 20 pages of this. They're all there. They're all at the top of the search engine lists. So that's what persuades me that there is no duplicate content penalty, except for exact replication of content. There, I believe there is a duplicate content penalty. But if you had two WordPress sites and they had exactly the same content, but the themes they used were different, I think that they would both rank pretty well. I don't want a site building too quickly. I've fallen foul of this one for one of my sites. I had an idea where I could rank for the same keyword preceded by just about every city in the world, and I think there were about 30,000 names I had on this list. But that was spotted, and what I should have done was to have had the site build up that list, and then I wouldn't have had a penalty for using this what they term a cookie cutter approach. I this is pretty much a belief, but Google wants sites that appear to be good to be at the top of the list. So if you can improve the appearance of your site in a way that can be understood that you've achieved by an automated robot, is likely to be helpful, and that could be something as simple as using a content style sheet. And one of the reasons WordPress excels so well in the search engine listings is it does use content style sheets, in my belief anyway. Don't write content for the search engines. Content needs to be reasonable quality for human consumption. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It doesn't have to be free of grammatical errors and all that sort of stuff, but it needs to read like proper language. It needs to be understandable. There are certain programs out there that tend to pull and scrape content from sites and put it all together, and it just looks like a jumbled up article. It doesn't even look like an article sometimes. It just looks rubbish. So I mean, you know, with WordPress and eShop, you're not likely to do that anyway. You're more likely to craft some sort of sales letter or at least a product description that's that reads pretty well, because otherwise you're not going to have a conversion rate, or you'll have a conversion rate of 0. But if you're trying to rank for anything that's not a product sales page, write your content for human consumption. And robots such as Googlebot should be provided with the same experience as human visitors. Now, what that means is, whenever a web browser or other utility comes onto your site asking for a page, it'll advertise what it is. It's called the user agent field, and in the case of Firefox, it'll say something like Mozilla Firefox. In the case of Internet Explorer, it'll say Internet Explorer. Same with Google Chrome, Safari, and Opera. Also, same with Googlebot and other robots, and they should all be provided with the same experience. And that doesn't mean to say that the page that you send Googlebot has to be exactly the same as the page that the last human who saw your site accessed. But what it means is that the Googlebot should see your site as a human would. So that's something to be aware of. Some people won't buy my limited time offer script because they're worried about Googlebot accessing their page and seeing that they get an offer expired page when humans get an offer running page. But that's not a problem, because the Googlebot is being given the same experience as a human visitor would. And I've seen a statement on one of Google employees' blogs to that effect. Not talking about my script, unfortunately, but they were talking about the principle. Do not add links to bound neighborhoods such as link farms or other sites with no page rank, because that can bring your site down as well. So here we're looking at sites that might have been banned by the search engines. You don't want to have links to those sites on your site. Content that changes periodically can improve rankings because it'll appear to the search engines to be current information. Okay, I've already discussed duplicate content. So those are the on-page SEO factors that can apply that I'm aware of. Off-page SEO. Now, here of course we're talking mainly about links. And the more links a page has, the more important it is seen by the search engines. There's loads of links to the BBC's website, for example, so it's seen as important by the search engines. And if it's running a page that is exactly the same as the page that you're running on the site that you've just launched, it's going to get ranked and you're not, simply because it's got lots of links. And this link juices, as search engine professionals tend to call it, spreads through sites. So if there, let's say there are pages A, B, and C, and A links to B and B links to C, and no, let's say A links to C and B links to C, but A has lots of backlinks pointing to it, and B has very few backlinks pointing to it. The link from A to C is going to be a far more significant link than a link from B to C, and it will improve the importance of C far more than the link from B. And that's what I've just discussed. Each page can reward other pages by linking to them. The value of that reward depends on the value the page has to start with. The fewer the outgoing links a page has, the more powerful its effect on the other page's rankings will be. So this is, for example, something like having a pot of 100 coins or something, and if you've got one link, all those 100 coins go to that one link. If you've got two links, the coins get divided, so it goes 50 to one site and 50 to the other site. If there are 10 links, then there are 10 coins evenly spread out. That's the idea there. Of course, we're not talking about coins here. Blogs and some other sites tend to use rel equals nofollow in their links, and they won't help you to rank for your keyword in Google. Other search engines may apply different rules. I believe Bing doesn't regard the rel equals nofollow, or gives it less of a regard than Google, which doesn't allow anything through. I mean, that was invented because people were commenting on blogs, and the comments had keyword-rich links pointing to their own landing pages, and they were spammy comments, and that was upsetting the search engine listings quality. So Google introduced that rel equals nofollow to combat that problem. Anchor text contained within the links will improve your ranking for that specific keyword, and the example that I've shown here This is a hypertext reference pointing to this page, and the anchor text is that part of it. And that improves your ranking for the keyword one-time offer script in that case. Links want to be straightforward HTML for the best results, because links from script languages such as JavaScript or Adobe Flash are not easily understood by the robots, but HTML is. So whenever you're link building on a site, you might want to check that it's going to give you an HTML link, and you want to be careful of over optimizing, by which I mean having plenty of links that all contain the same text. Search engines see that as trying to game the system. Of course, to a certain extent you are trying to game the system, but search engines are looking for growth of your links in terms of natural growth, not links that you've put out. But then you've got to put out some links to get traffic in the first place. So it's I've never come across this problem myself. I've seen it referred to quite a bit. I don't know what over-optimizing, what qualifies it. It might be that something like 100 articles all having the same anchor text pointing to a specific landing page would trigger that issue. But if you've got 20 times 5 articles, and each of those 5 articles sends you a slightly different keyword, then that might be okay. Should be okay anyway. The only link building technique I'm going to discuss tonight is article marketing, and that's because that's the only one that I've really employed that's given me any success. Now, as with all things, certain keywords are easy to rank for and certain keywords are difficult. Long tail keywords that we discussed when talking about pay-per-click tend to have less competition and tend to be easier to rank for, so that can be a good thing. But it can still take time to get your site and your page into the top 10 listings for a given keyword. So it's another be patient game, really. You want to include your desired keyword in your resource box for any articles that you write as a link to your site, and also include a normal link to your site. And I've given an example, and this might be an example resource box where here we have keyword rich anchor text, and here we have the text version of the link to the site. That site's not mine, by the way, just in case you were not aware. I don't even know if there is one by that name, but that's not important now. The reason for this is that some sites might pull this up just as plain text, but if they pull it up as plain text, that can still be converted into a link nonetheless, whereas this might be lost. So, and this particular one, obviously you can deep link with this, which is linking to a page on your site that's not the home page, With this, it's a little bit more difficult because you always come up against limitations as to the size of resource boxes that you can add to your articles, and you need this to be fairly short sometimes to enable you to fit all of this in. So something to be aware of there. Now, the article marketing that I've done hasn't really been article marketing as such, but link building. And in this case, really, I've put out articles with keywords rich anchor text to enable me to rank for specific keywords, and I know that works. I've done it. I earn money from it, and that works quite well. But you don't get much traffic from people who read the articles themselves. I know of some people that can really put together a great offer, and they claim to get very high click-through rates, but mine have always been very low, and I don't mind about that. And my recommended technique is that you write a number of articles and then you stagger the publication dates for those articles if possible. The number of articles you need will depend on the level of competition, and I don't really have a good way of analysing that. There are a number of sites that can do keyword research or can help with keyword research, and the best bet is to look at those. But one thing that you can look at is the page rank of sites. I don't tend to have page rank. In fact, I don't even use the Google toolbar. But if you use the Google toolbar, you can enable a little bar called PageRank, and that bar shows you how important Google views the particular page that you're on. The reason that I don't run it is I don't like Google knowing exactly where I browse. It's just a privacy thing. But there we go. That's to determine. Let's see. There are some sites that will determine PageRank for you. Just to demonstrate, let's try BBC's news site. That's going to be fairly high. Yeah, so news.bbc.co.uk has a page rank of 9. If I look at one of my own sites, page rank is going to be quite a lot lower. Yes, it's a lot lower. That doesn't really matter because it's ranking well for the keyword that I want to rank for. Now, having shown you what PageRank is, let's say we're looking for a German course again. Okay, the top entry is a BBC website, as it happens. The next one is deutschlernen.com. So if I put that into the Google rank checker, There are probably better sites than this that don't require you to enter an anti-bot code every time. Right, that's a page rank of 6. So that's a very high page rank itself. Right, let's... I would imagine this one's going to be quite a bit lower, but it'll be interesting to see. And it all depends on the number of backlinks. No, it's a 6 again. So my impression, if I was trying to rank for German course, I don't think I'd have a hope really. Oh, I tend to show hundreds listings when searching Google. I just don't like clicking next when I don't need to. Now let's... Okay, this would be the second page of the list here. Now, germancourses.com. Bear in mind that the keyword is German course. This probably doesn't need to be as high in terms of PR as quite a lot of them. Okay, it's a 5. So that one's going to be very difficult to rank for. Now let's try something like let's say MP3 player. Let's go for a specific type of MP3 player. Let's go for let's look for a small pink MP3 player. Okay, right, so I thought for a moment we only had 2 results there, but it actually looks like that might be quite difficult to rank for as well. We know cnet.com is a fairly high page rank. Amazon.com has a high page rank. But it might not be. Let's see. It's a fairly long URL, so it's not well optimized. Let's see. It's certainly not going to be a 6 in my opinion. Oh, that hasn't even got a ranking. So if you wanted to rank somewhere in the top 10 for small pink MP3 player, you might have a chance. So that's a way of determining the competition that applies to specific keywords. It's not a very good way, but I don't have details of a good way that I can give you right now, unfortunately, because I don't know them myself. Articles do not have to have the same subject as the resource box. That's a tip that I only recently discovered. I've seen a recommendation from someone that says if you're trying to rank for a keyword and you're using articles to do it, the only time the keyword should appear in that article is your resource box, because if it appears anywhere else, especially if it appears in the title, the article may rank above your website for that keyword, and that makes a lot of sense to me. if you're using articles for search engine optimization, then you want your site to appear in the keywords and not the article, ideally, because you want people to click through straight to you. Now, this is obviously a bit different if you're using articles to establish credibility as an expert. And in that case, you'll want people to click through to the article first and then click through to your site and be more receptive to whatever you're going to offer them. But if you're just using article marketing for SEO, then you don't really want the articles to rank for the keywords that you're trying to rank for. So, recommended article directories. The big one is, of course, easyarticles.com. They tend to be a bit twitchy on there. I've once been accused of submitting articles that came from a PLR article pack that I purchased. Well, I've never submitted a PLR article to Easy Articles or any other article directory for that matter. What has happened was they discovered a site that was using the article verbatim but didn't have my resource box, and it was just that that site was using my article illegally, and I explained that to them, and then they were happy. So they can be a bit twitchy, but generally speaking, they've got a good reputation. They've actually got analytics on their site that you can observe, so you can see how well your article's doing. You can see if it's being picked up by other sites and all that sort of thing. So they're the first recommendation, although they do sometimes take a little bit longer than some of the other sites to get your articles up and running. Although my experience in that regard has been pretty good. I'll often submit an article and they'll say it'll take up to a week, but it gets reviewed within a day or two, so that's pretty good going. Go Articles and iSnare.com are two other sites that I've used, and I think they both syndicate the articles that are submitted to them to some other sites as well, so you'll get multiple backlinks from them. And of course, if the article is your copyright, you can submit it wherever you like. Just make sure that you use the same name in the resource box so that Easy Articles doesn't accuse you of buying PLR. Easy Articles rules on PLR is that the only time at which you can use PLR is if you've purchased exclusive rights to content from a ghostwriter. There's one blog that I particularly recommend reading. It's a blog from a Google employee called Matt Cutts. And he tends to put up quite a lot of interesting content. Some of it is video, some of it is written content. It's not all about SEO. I guess if you click here, you just get the SEO stuff. Obviously you don't, because he's talking about where he's gonna speak in this year. Okay, yeah, there's an article a little bit about ranking for Arabic sites, I guess. But you know, it's the type of thing you've got to scroll through to find the gems, but it's worth looking through. I mean, there are others out there, but I recommend that one particularly because Matt Cutts is a Google employee. Right. We're coming to the point in the program where we're almost finished. So if you've got any questions, now would be the time to ask them. There haven't been any questions asked yet. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to briefly talk about a survey. Once this webinar finishes, you should be taken to a screen inviting you to fill in a short survey. I think I've just set up 7 questions that I would appreciate it if you would answer them. It will be helpful to me, and thank you very much for that. So in the last quarter of an hour, if there's any questions, anything you'd like me to cover or demonstrate, now's the time to raise them, and I'll just give it a minute to see if anything comes in, and if nothing comes in, I'll close down the webinar. And I hope it's been useful. It's been good to run this course. This, of course, has been the first for our comments for the week 3 challenge. Yes, okay, let's have a look. Right, let's go on to the site. Dennis is asking about the comments for the week 3 challenge, so I did have a look yesterday and I didn't see any comments that have been put in place. And I'm on the wrong site here. I think I'm not in the members area. You want to be on the members area, of course. Okay, right, there's an extra comment that right, okay. It didn't get automatically approved, which is probably why I didn't see it. Okay. P-week, okay, yeah. Right, I'm sorry I missed this one, of course. I only missed it because the post wasn't automatically approved, and that probably took place because it has a link in it. Although I didn't think I was using a spam blocking plugin on the members area website. Let's have a quick look. I think that's certainly sufficient to meet the week 3 challenge. Yes, interesting. Okay. That must be behavior from the default spam blocking. Okay then, Dennis, I will get that bonus to you. I believe it was the traffic SEO course that I discussed, so that would be Paul Count's traffic generation and SEO course. Is that what I said I was going to provide for the people who achieved the week 3 challenge? I'm fairly sure it was. So I shall I shall send you an email and get that to you. Okay, excellent. Yes, that's a really good video course. It's about 12 hours long, and I found I haven't taken action on it. I haven't had time to take action on it, but it looks like there's a wealth of information about getting your site ranked. The guy seems to have, well, certainly he's got a big list. I'm aware of that, so I believe the information is very good, and I'll make sure you get that. Right. So thanks very much, everyone. If there are no other comments, I shall close down the webinar. I shall get that traffic generation and SEO course to you, Dennis, and thank you all very much.